Welcome back, students. Today we're going to learn how to create a revolution using Fusion 360. So go ahead and double click on Autodesk Fusion 360. And it's going to take a minute or two for it to come up. Hope everybody's doing well. You're going to have two homework assignments this week. The first one that I'm going to do, you're just going to replicate what I do. And then the second one, I'm going to give you a hint, but you're going to have to complete the assignment on your own. So I'll give you some hints, but you'll have to complete it, okay? All right, so here we are. Obviously, we're going to do some design work, so make sure you're in design. Go to create sketch right here, and I'm going to click on, there's three planes you could select. I'm going to select the frontal plane. All right. Now, if you look at your homework assignment, we are creating the first one. Okay, we are creating the first homework assignment. And we're going to do this together. Okay. And then the second one, I'm going to give you some hints, and then you can figure out how to do the rest on your own. So I'm going to go to line here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start at the origin, and I'm going to come over this way about 20, and I'm going to come up about 25 right here. And then let's see, 70 I'm gonna come over this way, 25. Mr. Morris doing some math in his head. And I'm just gonna go up like this, an arbitrary distance. 50 is probably fine. Just go ahead and make it 50. Left click, right click, okay. Come over here to line again, and we're just going to mirror image this. Make a mirror image of this, what we just created. Right click, okay. All right, so it looks like a field goal post, right? All right, so again, make sure your dimensions are the same as mine. Now we're going to create a circle, circle diameter, and I'm going to go right here to this point, right? Not here. But come over about two rectangles here, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to make this diameter 120. And enter. Then I'm going to do a right click, and there's not a right click, okay, so just hit escape. Now we need to trim, so go up here where you see the scissors, click on the scissors, and click here, and then here, okay, and then we're going to do a right click, okay. All right, so your geometry, I'm going to zoom in with the scroll wheel. Your geometry should look like this, okay. I'm going to finish my sketch here. And you know, Mr. Morris likes to be in the isometric. And I'm going to revolve this. So here is my feature. My axis is going to be here. So select OK. All right. So that is a spherical joint of some sort. Now I'm going to make some threaded holes using a circular pattern on this face here. So I'm going to go to sketch, click on this face, and I'm going to create a circle. From the center, I'm going to come out about 75. Mr. Morris has already practiced this once. And do a right click. And I'm so used to doing a right click, okay. So just hit escape. That's from using Inventor. I'm going to come over here and come down to where it says point. I'm going to create a point right here at the 12 o'clock position. All right, so right there. Right click. Okay, so I have, I'm going to put a hole there at that point. So finish the sketch and watch. I'm going to go to hole and I'm going to click on that center point right there. That's a mighty big hole, so we have to fix this. The hole type we want is simple, like a simple hole, and we want it to be a tapped hole. Tapped means it's threaded, internal thread, so select tapped. And it doesn't matter to me for this hole because it's going to go all the way through, so that it can have a drill point because the hole is going to go all the way through. Right here, the depth of this, we're going to go ahead and make this 70. Okay. That's the depth of it. Now the size of this hole, we do want a metric thread. So I think I chose like 12 millimeter hole. I selected a 12 millimeter. Now that's what that means. The designation here, M means it's a metric thread. M means metric. And it's 12 millimeters in diameter. So this is a 12 millimeter diameter hole or for a thread. And the pitch, okay, that's the distance from a point on one thread to the same corresponding point on the adjacent thread. So this distance basically from one thread to the next is 1.75 millimeters. And then classification of fit here is a 6H, and it's a right hand thread. So in other words, if you were going to screw the screw into the thread hole, you would turn it clockwise. That's a right hand thread. If you have to turn a screw counterclockwise in a hole, then that's a left hand thread. In other words, for it to go in, if you have to turn it to the left or counterclockwise, that's a left hand thread. Okay. All right, so it's metric. This is the diameter. M means metric. 12 is the diameter. 1.75 millimeters per distance between the threads, and the classification of fit. We'll talk more about this later because I do have a PowerPoint I'm going to share with you at some point if we have time on threads. And I'm going to select OK. All right. So here is our, if you scroll in, you can see our threads here. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, I want to create a pattern with this. So click here. Actually, I don't want a rectangular pattern. Sorry about that. I'm going to click here. It's not liking me today. Hang on, folks. Hit the escape button. There we go. Here, I'm going to undo this. Okay. Here was the problem, folks. Hit undo until you get back to, and then hit redo. Sorry about this. What I want to do is I want to arrow down here. I always forget to do this, but it's because I'm so used to using Inventor. I'm going to come down here to pattern and click on circular pattern. Okay. Try that again. Click on the feature first, which is the threaded hole. Come down here to pattern, circular pattern. It's not liking me. Oh, I know why. It's closed over here. Here is a problem. The menu was closed over here, so I couldn't see it. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you one more time. Mr. 3 times I strike out, right? So I'm going to click on this, go to circular pattern, and we need to select the axis. You can just select this circumference here of this. Okay. All right. So I'm going to undo this. It is giving me a hard time, and I don't know why. I don't want a rectangular pattern, though. I want a circular pattern. All right. So click on the feature, and then I selected the object, and then the axis, and then it's going to have the number of holes. You can see there's 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, I want 6. All right. If I select OK here, whew, sorry about all that confusion. But anyway, this is our spherical joint. And I actually added some threaded holes to it here. All right, now the part is complete. We're going to go up here and we're going to go to export here. Or actually, we want to capture image. So we're going to go click that arrow down here and go to capture image. Say OK. And I'm going to call this spherical joint. Now, I may have called it something different on your homework sheet, and you can call it that, but this is really the technical name of this. When you look at the homework assignment, what I created, I think it's actually called, what did I create? Revolutions. So that's actually the name I call the project, but the file name itself, we should put Fusion 360 here. So we know that we created this with Fusion and not Inventor. So it's going to be a PNG save. All right, so now we're going to make a drawing of this. So you come over here and you click down on this icon and you come to drawing from design. And the name of this drawing, we'll just go ahead and call it Revolutions dash. I'm going to call it 2 because I already have 1. You can call it a 1 if you want to. So Revolutions -1 Fusion 360, you should call yours. I have a 2 here because I did it earlier. Save. Over here, we want the full assembly, create new from scratch, but select American Society of Mechanical Engineers, ASME. The units will be millimeters, and we want a size A sheet of paper, and select OK. So full assembly, create new, from scratch, ASME, millimeters, size A sheet of paper, which is 8.5 by 11, select OK. So it takes a minute for it to come up. On my machine it does. All right, we're not going to worry about the title block yet. All right, so you can see, now what I'm going to do, I don't want this to be my front view. I know that I want this actually to be my right side view. So it's saying it's the front, but I'm going to call it, I'm going to select the right side to be my front. See what I did? I just changed the orientation to right. And we want to make sure we see hidden lines. Okay. And I'm going to click right. I think the scale I have is 1. I think I might have it as 1.2. We'll see what. Uh-oh. No, that's too big. Sorry. Maybe I made it 1. See, you can change. I think 0.75 is good. All right, so make sure this says right. Hidden lines. Make the scale 0.75, and I'm going to click right here and select OK. Like I said, Mr. Morris doesn't use Fusion as much as I do Inventor, so sometimes I get a little confused about what I'm doing, but I eventually dig myself out of the hole or get myself out of the hole, whatever. I'm going to do a projected view here of this front view, and I'm going to click right here. Now, that looks very confusing as to what's going on there. So I'm going to show you actually how to create a section view. A section view is we're going to do an imaginary cut through the front view. It's imaginary. It's not a real cut. It's an imaginary cut. I'm going to delete this view. I'll show you what I'm doing here. It's going to ask me to select it again. Say OK. So I deleted that view. But watch carefully. I'm going to make a section view out of this. So go to this right here. Section view. We're going to do an imaginary cut through the center. And we're going to project what it looks like on the inside, because you can't see what it looks like on the inside without doing an imaginary cut. So click here, click on the view, and I'm going to make sure I hover over the center so I keep it straight, nice and straight. Click here, come down, click here, do a right click, continue, and I'm going to come over here and click. Right click, OK. All right. We can move this up by holding the left mouse button down and dragging that up some. All right, so that's the section view. Now I'm going to put a center line in for this bolt hole circle here. Okay, this is a bolt hole circle. Mr. Morris, what center line do I use for that? Well, we're going to pick this one, and we're just going to click on any of the holes. See how it automatically puts the center line in there? Right click, OK. Let me undo that. Something happened. Click here. Click here. Maybe you should have to click 2 holes, select OK. I clicked 2 holes and then it recognized the pattern. All right, hit escape. All right. Now, I want to move this down just a little bit here. We may come back and change the scale a little bit because I'm not going to have enough room for my isometric. So I'm going to change the scale this. So edit the view here. And I'm going to make this 0.6. All right. So all the views have been updated to 0.6. I'm going to edit this view here. And I'll make it shaded. Select close. All right, I still am going to bump this a little bit more. Okay, so it's starting to come together here. All right, so let's see, we have some dimensions we need to put on here. So I'm going to put the diameter of this right here. Right click, OK. And then I'm going to use this icon here. I think this is neat to click on the hole and come up and click again. And it's going to give us the nomenclature associated with that hole. Look, it's a metric thread, 12 millimeters in diameter, and the pitch, the distance from one thread to the next is 1.75 millimeters. This is the classification of fit. And then the 70 is how deep. And this is like the minor diameter here. This is the minor diameter. See, if you zoom in, we have a larger diameter, which is 12, And then we have a smaller diameter, which is also the minor or root diameter. It's 10.2735. And the depth is 70 millimeters. Well, we know that goes all the way through. All right. I'm going to show you how to do an angular dimension here. If you click here, arrow down, and click angular dimension, you can click on this, center line this one, and drag out your angular dimension right here and click. Do a right click, OK. All right. And so we have this diameter, we have the designation or the call out for this threaded hole. We have 6 of them. As you can tell, they're 60 degrees apart. We're going to put a dimension right here on the bolt hole circle itself and drag it out. Put it about right there. Okay. Right click, OK. Now I think I have all the dimensions I need for the front view. If you see one I missed, go ahead, knock yourself out and put it on there. Mr. Morris is not going to take off for it, okay? You know, Mr. Morris is not perfect. I make mistakes too. So if you find where I made a mistake, you know, just correct it. There's no problem. No worries here, okay? Now we're going to put some center lines here. This is called the bisector center line right here. So I'm going to click on this line and this line and this line and this line. Now watch, I'm putting several of these in here. This line and this line. And we're going to put one between here and here. All right, do a right click, OK. Now look, if I click on this line, you'll see some grips up here. I'm just going to pull this up like this. Pull it down. Okay, then we'll click on this one and drag this arrow. Okay. Now that's how our side view, right side view looks so far. Let's put some more dimensions on here. So what's this radius here? Click on that, drag it about right there. Okay, what else? We have, they call this the chord dimension here, because it's a sphere where we flatten off the 2 sides of the sphere. Well, not sides, but we've made 2 flaps on the sphere. So we're going to put a dimension right here. I'm going to reduce the scale of this. I think I changed it earlier to 0.16. Close. All right, so that's, I'm not even going to put the right side view there because it's a section view. It is a section view, so that's what it should be called. It's section AA. See AA? That's the direction you're looking at, and you would see this. So that the arrow is pointing in the direction that you're looking. And when you cut it in half, this is what you would see. Okay. Now we have some more dimensions we need to add here. What's the distance from here to here? I'm going to take the dimension. You know how I'm going to take that dimension off the part. And then we'll put another dimension right here. Drag it off like that. All right, let's see what we got here. I think I have everything. Well, no, there's one more dimension. Mr. Morris is anxious to get done with this problem for some reason. We'll click here and here. Move back some. Okay. Now, I think that is everything that I'm going to add to this drawing as far as the drawing itself. I do have to add the view labels. Mr. Morris is going to get a -3, right? Or -2, whatever here, if I don't add my view labels. So click on this text icon, and we're going to come in here, click, drag a little box, click, and we're going to type in front view, all caps, right? And we're going to highlight this, make it bold, underline, close. Make sure it's centered. You can always click on it and move it about wherever you need to move it. Same here. Click, drag out a rectangle, click. ISO view, all caps. Two words. ISO view. Okay. Highlight it by holding your left mouse button, and just like in Word, make it bold, underline, close. All right. Almost there, folks. Where it says project, what I like for you to call this is revolutions. Okay. Hang on, I'm having trouble with my mouse for a second. Hang on, folks. All right. So hit enter. Where it says approved by, go ahead and put your last name in caps and put the date that you worked on it. So like today is Saturday, October the 9th. Mr. Morris is working on this. Okay. Checks will be by you and whatever date. All caps. Okay. So I think that looks good. We're going to save that. Okay, so there's the save button. Save, and that's what it's going to be called, your drawing. Now, I don't want you to send the drawing to me. What I want you to do is send me a PDF of the drawing. So go to export, export PDF, say OK, and make sure you remember what directory you save it in. So save. All right, so what you need to turn in is you need to turn in a PNG file of this picture here, right? This is a picture. And if I click on this link here or this tab, this is the drawing, and send me a PDF of this. Okay, let's save it again. Let's be on the safe side. All right, now we got one more thing to show you. You have one more homework assignment. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of. I'm going to give you a hint, but I'm not going to set it up for you like I did this one. This is your first homework assignment. Your second homework assignment, you have to draw a spindle, and it's already in there. Just go to the module and module 8 and look at the first homework and the second homework. This is the first homework assignment. You just have to duplicate what I'm doing here. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go up here to this icon and select new design. So create sketch, click on the frontal plane. Now watch, Mr. Morris is not going to give you a whole lot of direction here, but I'm going to draw a shaft. Okay, I'm going to draw a shaft. Hang on, Mr. Morris is going to start over again. Hang on. Click on the line. You have to make sure that you're following your dimensions on your art. Okay, I'm just drawing some arbitrary lengths here. I'm not trying to be exact. And then close it up. Right click OK. So I just drew this profile. You're going to draw half. You're going to draw exactly 1/2 of your spindle. 1/2 of it using the right dimensions, and then going to finish the sketch. Okay, and we're going to do a revolve, and we're going to select the axis of revolution here. Select OK. Okay, now this is not your part. It's something similar, but what if I wanted to add a fillet here? Click on the edge where I want to add the fillet, and let's say it's 2 millimeters. Let me undo that. I'm going to make it a little bit larger than that. I'm going to make it a little bit larger. I'm going to fill it. Click on this, and maybe I'll make it 10. There we go. Fill it, make this one 10. All right, now, if you got an interior fillet, you just go do this. You select that interface right there. Select OK. Select here. Made that 10, select OK. All right, so there is yours is different. Okay, yours is different. Just follow the drawing that I gave to you and duplicate that drawing, but you have to model the part. Mr. Morris is not going to model the part, but I've shown you enough here where I think you can do well. Now, if you want to add some color, see how I expanded this? I did a right click on that icon, right, that cylinder, and I come down to appearance, and you can scroll through this. We'll select paint, powder coat smooth, and I'm going to hold down my left mouse button and drag and click. Hold down the left mouse button, drag over, and then click, and then it automatically assigns your color to the part, or your texture or material or whatever. I just did a powder coat of this. Okay, it's red. All right, so you should save this. You should save go to capture image. You're going to save your model. And I'm going to call this spindle practice. Because this is not the one that you're supposed to do for homework. Very similar though. Okay, I'm not going to make the drawing this time. I think you know enough to create the drawing based on the first example I did today. Again, I hope you're doing well. Your test has been posted, and I hope you're doing well on that. You have to use Inventor to do that. Also, my sincere apologies. I did not post Module 7. I mean, I did post it last Saturday, but I found out like Wednesday of this week, it might have been Thursday, that I hadn't made it active. So I'm so sorry about that. I posted it, and there's no hard deadlines with it. Just do your best to get that completed, okay? All right. Hope you're doing well. Take care. Call me, email me, text me if you need to get a hold of me for anything. All right. Have a good day.